Welcome back to the Angels here on MLB The Show 25, and as you can see, we are here at the 2027 first-year player draft, so it's time to dive in and add some players to our organization. Alrighty, so we are here. The 2027 draft, we have added a bunch of guys to our list here. We are picking 16th overall this year, so we're trying to take a hitter in the first rounds, as that's our philosophy. Hitters first round, pitchers later. And we have added a bunch of hitters to our list here. Darnell Gunn is probably the guy that I have the most interest in. He looks like he could be a really, really good corner infield bat. There's also, I guess these are kind of like out of order, but like Bill Carter is a guy who's projected to go in the 40s. We could maybe get in the second round. Luna could be a guy we maybe are able to get on our first round pick. Ridgway is like a second round potential guy, maybe. Luis Vargas is a guy who we could maybe get with our first round pick here. Our draft rank has him as 53. MLB has him at 19. I'm not sure why we have him at 53 because it looks like he's a really good power hitter who has elite speed and really good defense, and he's a switch hitter. So I'm not sure why he would be dropping, but he's somebody I'm considering with a first round pick. I think Vargas, Gunn, Luna, Erwin Lewis might be one if he drops. He's projected to go 10th. He looks like he could be like a really good contact bat. Probably prefer the power to be more than him, to be honest. I like the other guys better. Oswaldo Castro is a guy we haven't really scouted, but he's projected to go in that range. Phil Murphy's a catcher who's projected to go in that range, who has some serious pop and arm strength, but not much else to his name. And then we have a bunch of starting pitchers who I just have added onto the list here. There's also a closer who's projected to go around when we have a pick, and I haven't really scouted him at all, but, I mean, just look at his ratings. I mean, obviously this could all be totally wrong, but even if that's even remotely correct, I mean, lefty with that type of stuff, he could be a generational closer, so not my first option, but like if all the other guys are somehow gone, we might look into taking this guy with like a mid-first round pick, to be honest. So to recap, Luis Vargas is probably like the number one guy we like, or it's like him and Darnell Gunn for their bats. I think probably Gunn. I don't know. Vargas seems like he could have the defense, while Gunn seems like he's just the bat. So I feel like I'd probably prefer Vargas, plus he's a switch hitter. So if we can get Vargas or Gunn, those are the guys we're really rooting for here. So let's hop into the draft here. Number one overall is the St. Louis Cardinals as they select Mark Dell, a catcher who was MLB ranked 4. We had ranked 3rd, even though we wouldn't really scout him at all. But I'd imagine he's pretty good. Alright, so the Reds are about to take their pick, and so far, there's Darnell Gunn. Darnell Gunn goes one pick before us to the Reds. That means that Luis Vargas is probably who we're leaning here. Once again, I don't know why our draft rank has him as 53. He looks like he's really damn good. So I think we're going to risk it, and I think we're going to take Vargas because if we just look at the full list here of guys ranked, you can see we have a lot of pitchers that are like MLB draft ranked low, but we have ranked really high. Like there's this shortstop who's all glove and it's really all arm and speed, not much else. There's a first baseman who we didn't really look at, but he could maybe be good, but he's maybe also like very bad to start. There's that closer I was talking about, some more starters. This center fielder who looks like he could have a really good glove, but like lacking on the offensive side of things. And there's this guy who's like, you know, maybe something. There's Vega, who's maybe something we haven't scouted. Then there's that Murphy guy. So I don't know. I just think that Vargas has got to be our guy. We're got to go with Vargas here. Luis Vargas out of Puerto Rico, the switch-hitting outfielder. We are taking him. Bang on. Absolutely. Switch-hitting 20-year-old outfielder. Welcome to the organization. So here in round 2, we are on the board, and basically all the bats that we thought would be available in the 4th round maybe are not here, or the 2nd round rather. So it's a lot of guys who are like 3rd, 4th round possibilities for us. And I don't really want to reach on those guys because we have a bunch of these starters here that like are MLB draft ranked way lower, especially Salgado here, but like 5th and 6th overall. Road here looks like he's got the big stamina. He's looking like he might be a guy who like starts off super low and has to like develop a ton at 18 years old. And then Joaquin Salgado looks like he's maybe a bit, but also his home runs look like they're going to be a problem even when he's fully developed. So I probably don't want to go with him. There's also Quentin Aldine here. He looks like he's more of a well-rounded guy out of Mexico. There's this Oloski guy out of Canada. Looks like he's not really going to strike anybody out, but he might have walk problems. I mean, Road looks like he will be better. Salgado is going to have the home run issues even when he's fully developed, so like I just don't think we should be doing that. Just very quickly, like Jimmy Munoz, really good defensive center fielder. He might be an option for us here. But then there's also Brian Hong, who we might be able to get next round, who looks like he's a little bit better offensively. So I think we're going to take Road. We're taking Daryl Road, lefty out of Canada. Bang on. 2nd round pick, welcome to the organization. And here we are, round 3, we got less than a minute here, and Brian Hong is indeed available here for pick 93. He is projected to go 104. We have him draft ranked 86th. This guy could be a starting center fielder at some point, so Brian Hong out of Taiwan here, he's going to be our guy. We're taking him right now. Welcome to the organization, Brian Hong. Holy shit, round 4 and they're all gone. Everyone is gone on my board. It's just Oloski left. That is not great. And here we are, round 4. We take Eric Brown, a shortstop. Looks like he could be really good defensively. And here in round 5, we take Vincent Gall, a left-handed pitcher out of Indiana. And for our final pick in the 6th round, we took a blind shot on a catcher here. Kyle St. John. Looks like maybe he could be something. We have no clue. And since we just did the draft, you know what it means. It is time for the All-Star break. We have reached the halfway point in the season here. I guess it's a little bit more than halfway in the actual like statistics way to look at it. But 48 and 48, exactly 500 in the season. A bit solid down the stretch here for us. As we had, ever since that loss to Minnesota, there was the Toronto series win, then Pittsburgh, then Detroit. We lost that one to the A's, but then we rebounded with the sweep of Cleveland, or not a sweep, it was 3 out of 4 of Cleveland, then take 2 out of 3 from Cincinnati, 2 out of 3 from Baltimore on the road. Unfortunately, went into the break taking only 1 of 3 from the White Sox, who are a terrible team, which is just a really, really poor outcome for us in that one. But overall, 4.5 games out, we're still in position to make a push here for this wild card, or not wild card spot, but for the division title, because we're one of these bad divisions where we're really not going to have a chance at the wild, or actually we do kind of. Suddenly we're only 2 games out. We used to be having like 6 teams in front of us. Like we were down in this range here. But now, only 2 games out, and suddenly we're looking like we might have ourselves a shot at the playoffs, either winning the division or the wild card. Now, I would like to win the division, but we have ourselves a shot here. So we're going to be trying to acquire stuff at the deadline to help us, not obviously selling the farm, obviously, but we want to try to add some bats or something that can help us down the stretch, because I feel like the bats are quite bad. And just a quick run through of how the bats have been doing. You can see here the top 3 guys are all currently on fire. Nolan Shawnwell continues to be absolutely amazing. 37 doubles, more walks than strikeouts, 10 home runs here at the All-Star break. Just an incredible first half for Nolan Shawnwell. Zach Neto starting to turn it on a bit here as well. He's got 16 home runs, 49 ribbies. You know, hopefully he can have a better second half for us. Logan O'Hoppe starting to turn things on as well. He's got 12 home runs, 13 doubles. Ha-Seong Kim continues to have a sub-700. Wenzel Perez no longer scorching like he was entering the deadline, or entering the break, rather. Mike Trout continues to be like a meh, whatever sort of player, as his power continues to plummet. It's now down to 71 versus lefties, which is just not what you want, especially considering we still have 3 more years of Mike Trout signed at $35.5 million. At this point, we're hoping that, like, after one more season, he just goes, I'm hanging him up. I'm just going to save you the money here. I doubt that happens, but that's what we're kind of hoping for at this point. Christian Moore continues to be very underwhelming offensively. Lamont Wade has really been turning it on as of lately. His OPS is up in the 800s with Nolan Schanuel, the only two guys with 800 OPSs on the team. 13 doubles, 8 home runs, a 383 OBP in that leadoff spot that he has for us. Carlson continues to stink. Campera doesn't do anything back up. Reggie Coffey is starting to slowly put it together, but, still very early on in his career here. Curtis Mead is like whatever, and Luis Arias has actually been still hitting well. He's actually playing every day at second base now against both righties and lefties. And then on the pitching side of things, you've got Shane McClanahan, who is on fire. He's got a 1.3 WAR. Not the best that he could be, but we'll take it. Sub 4 ERA, low 4 FIP. Dana's got a low 4 ERA, sub 4 FIP. Klassen has been turning it on as of recently, but overall the numbers are not great. Detmers continues to be like where he's been all year, solid starter. Basically a bunch of guys pitching like they're fourth starters, but I feel like all these guys are capable of pitching like they're two starters, if you ask me. Ronel Blanco's in the bullpen being fine. Ginkel's been solid at the ERA, kind of a low 4 FIP though. Doval's been really good in the bullpen. Rivera's been solid for a rookie at 20 years old. Ben Joyce has been really good as the closer. Bachman's been good in his long relief role. Kikuchi's been good with the ERA, not so much with the FIP. The FIP's been fine, I should say. Johnson's been overall good, and same with Soriano. So we are, once again, Blanco getting way too many innings because he's a starter, but, the game is going to game. And it's cutting into the innings that we're giving Soriano and Johnson here, or mainly Soriano, which is kind of a bummer. And then Nolan Schanuel, he's up in the top 4 for 111 hits here in the American League. He still has the American League lead in doubles, 37. Jarren Duran's behind him with 31. Home runs, we are not anywhere on that list. That's Bo Bichette leading the league, also in RBI. And there you can see the All-Star voting. We do actually have an All-Star starter on this year's team. Nolan Schanuel is the starter I would imagine he started at first base and DH because that's just how they sort it in this game. First base and DH, yeah. So he's the starting first base DH in the All-Star game. Ben Joyce is actually the number 1 closer in the All-Star game, so that's good to see. I don't know about number 1, but he's the first guy listed. And as far as what we're looking at here, heading into the second half, we've got Seattle coming out of the break. They're in front of us in the division. We got to have a win there in that series. We got Texas, who's behind us, but still a scrappy team. We've been poor against the division this year, so we got to compete there on the road. We got to compete at Houston, and then we have another third straight division series here against the A's, who are still at the top of the division. So lots of things that could sway how we're looking heading into the deadline here. So we'll probably maybe do 2 or 3 of these games and then see how we are heading into the deadline. And this stretch right here is going to decide whether we are buyers or sellers heading into the deadline. The All-Star break is over, and the Angels are here at home playing host to the Seattle Mariners to kick off the second half of the season. The right-hander Caden Dana is the one chucking the pill here for the Angels on the day, making his 20th start of the campaign. We'll start things off top half of the second inning where Cal Raleigh, big dumper, hits one into right field for a base knock to lead off the inning, and then Josh Naylor, yes, he's in this universe as well, on the Mariners going out to right center field. That's a double. Dumper holds up at third base. It's second and third here with nobody out, and then Cole Emerson chops one over to shortstop. That scores a run, makes it a 1-0 Mariners lead. And then with a runner on second base, Dana clutches up, strikes out O'Hearn on the big breaking ball for out number 2, and then would proceed to get Randy Arozarena to fly out to center field as Perez puts that one away for out number 3. We then move things on to the bottom half of the second where the Stetson man, Logan Gilbert, was towing the slab here for the Angels, or for the Mariners rather. And then Mike Trout comes up here with 2 outs, pokes one into right field. Base knock there keeps the inning alive, brings up Perez, as Trout is picked off at first base. Not a great look there for the team, as we're already down 1-0, and then our ABs go like that. And then at the top of the third, Scott Schaefer comes up and proceeds to hit one into the right field seats. A solo shot makes it a 2-0 Mariners lead. And we move things on bottom 3. Luis Urias comes up. Middle, hanging slider, good timing. Pop up to the infield dirt. Not great. Nothing going for the Angels. Move things on top 4. Mariners, ground ball from Josh Naylor here. Knocked down by Urias on the dive. Does not feel it cleanly, and then also throws it into the dugout, allowing Naylor to get onto second base. So he's in scoring position, as then Dana can't find the zone against Emerson, draws a walk, and then a pitch that is just taken right to Kim and just misses the ball somehow. Scores a run, 3-0 Mariners, brings up Randy the showman, hits one into right field, base knock, that drives in a run, 4-0 Seattle now. And they weren't done. Dominic Canzone comes up. He hits one over the head of Trout in right field. That's going to be off the top of the wall. That's going to score a run. It's now 5-0 for the Mariners. And then finally Dana comes out of the game. Ronel Blanco enters here for the Angels out of the bullpen. And with 2 outs and 2 on, Scott Schaefer then proceeds to get a curveball on the outside edge of the zone that he somehow just hits no doubt into the bullpen. 3-run blast. 8-0 Mariners. This game did not go well for the Halos coming out of the All-Star break. Not how you want to start the second half at all. Dropping a game 9-2, as that is your final here to the Mariners. Just, like I said, terrible way to start the second half. Dana and Blanco got absolutely rocked. The offense flat out stunk. Nothing going well here for the Halos in this one. Well, folks, as you can see, things have not been going as planned or as well as they could be here post All-Star game. Heading into the second half here, the team has not been playing their best ball, currently sitting 7 games out of first place, 4-6 in our last 10. Not exactly the type of showing we were expecting or hoping for to really solidify ourselves as a team that could be pushing for this division. Instead, we got smacked by Seattle at home, lost to the Cubs, who are not a good team at home, got destroyed by Texas, who was not a good team on the road. Luckily did rebound with a series win over Houston, but now taking on a series against the almost call them the Houston Athletics, the Athletics, who are the team leading the division, and we're kind of leaning towards a team that's going to be selling at the deadline. We're not going to make the decision until after 1 or 2 games of this series, and then we'll do all our trading on that last day, because it's not like OTP, and it's not like I have hard mode on OTP on where I only have a certain amount of trades and what you could do in a day, or only a certain amount of shops you could do in a day. But heading into this series, like I said, we are 7 games out of the division, so the division is definitely looking like a bit of a long shot unless we go on a super run here in the last 2 months of the season. And then the wild card, the Twins and Orioles and Mariners are all in their spots right now, and then it's the Blue Jays, the Red Sox, and the Royals all within either a half game or a game. So that's 3 teams in front of us that we would have to jump, and we are 3 games back. So it's not totally out of question to push for the wild card. It's still within reach, but there is 3 teams in front of us as well. So, there is the 3 games back, but it's 3 teams in front of us. We've been terrible against our division this year, 14-24. So I'm kind of leaning towards almost just trying to just sell and see if maybe the kids can make a run. We have expiring contracts in Lamont Wade. He could probably net us something pretty decent, try to trade him for something, maybe something younger, more team controllable. They can even help us now. But if we do trade him, I'm probably leaning towards just calling up on Hello Manuel. We could also trade Luis Urias, who you can see here, Christian Moore has currently been on fire as of recently, but he's been sitting on that 9 home run total for a long time. So, I don't know what the hell he's doing that it's getting him on fire, because it's not hitting home runs. But Urias has been good in his limited time this year. He's an expiring contract. We could look to trade him for something that could either help us now or something that's, closer to the big leagues here, that's younger and more team controllable. And just kind of let the guys we have in the system or guys that we trade for that are younger maybe help us down the stretch here, and just let the kids help us. So, Wade, Urias, and Dylan Carlson are the 3 main pieces that we have to trade. They're all on expiring contracts heading into free agency. So I think that we are leaning towards doing that, but we're going to hold off to make the final decision until after this game against the Athletics. There's also Yusei Kikuchi, who is an expiring contract, but he's an expiring contract in a way where he's a aging reliever, and it's just not going to get any sort of money or any sort of value because he's 35. He's tanking like crazy on the ratings because he's 35, and he's a reliever in this game, which just has no value. So I just don't really see the point in trading him. There's also Kevin Ginkel, who is on an expiring contract, Camilo Doval. Those are relievers, but they are like good relievers who are not super regressing, and they both have B potentials in Ginkel and Doval actually has an A. He's gone up to, and I just realized this for the first time. Okay, we might be trying to extend Doval after this season then. I'm not really sure what would be the extension that he would be looking for. Camilo Doval, I mean, that's a pretty penny for a reliever. But now that I'm seeing that, that's just another guy to keep in mind here. Ginkel, Doval as possible two relievers to trade away on top of the other names that I've talked about. We have Jose Soriano, who only has 1 year of arbitration left. We also have Reed Detmers, who only has 1 year of arbitration left after this. So some guys that we could definitely move on from if we decide to totally sell. I don't think I want to totally sell being only 3 games out, but I think I am leaning towards getting rid of Arias, Wade, and Carlson, just because we have guys at those positions that can give us like a similar level of quality of play, I feel like. We are here in Anaheim as we approach the trade deadline, and the Angels playing host to the Athletics, who are atop the AL West. Shane McClanahan, the southpaw, on the bump here for the Angels on the day, making his 23rd start of the season. Start things off top half of the first inning. Esteury Ruiz leading things off. A little base knock, gets past Wade at first base. Then it brings up Darrell Honez. The speedy Ruiz would go and swipe second base, feet first sliding in. He's in scoring position, as then Honez would spit on ball 4. So first and second here, as McClanahan allows the first 2 base runners to get on, but then starts to figure things out. Strikes out Brent Rooker for out number 1. Then it brings up Shea Langoliers. He also gets punched out. Suddenly, he's 1 out away from getting out of the inning. And unfortunately, not going to be the case as Lawrence Butler commits some lefty-on-lefty crime, ground ball through the middle, scores a run, and the A's take a 1-0 lead. Move things on bottom 1, where Brady Singer, the man who snubbed us in the offseason for the Athletics, was chucking the pill for them. So here in bottom 1, Lamont Wade leading things off with a base knock, basically the same thing Ruiz did, and then Sean Well. He's going at the left center field, doing what he does. That one's going to slow roll up against the wall. Easy double for Sean Well. Wade scores all the way from first base, and it's a tie ball game. Then it brings up Reggie Coffey, who chops one up the middle, allows the runner to move over, 1 down, runner on third. Brings up Mike Trout. He chops one down the third base line. They go home with it, not in time. Sean Well scores, Trout RBI, fielder's choice, as it makes it a 2-1 Angels lead, their first of the game. And then out here in the top of the third inning, as it's going to be a base knock there from Langoliers, but then Butler grounds into a 5-4-3 around the horn double play. And unfortunately, it would not be a clean inning though, as J.J. Bleday comes up and hits one off the dumbest part of the wall. That counts as a home run because of Ohtani, as J.J. Bleday ties this one up at 2 runs apiece. Move things on bottom 4 here. Mike Trout grounds one through the right side of the infield. Base knock to lead things off. Brings up Logan O'Hoppe then, as Mike Trout goes and swipes second base, shows off the fleet feet, gets himself into scoring position. Then O'Hoppe's AB, 1-2 count, ground ball over to third base. Not going to get the runner over, so 1 down brings up Zach Neto. He hits one out to right field. This one's heading towards that dumb wall, and it plunks it. So that's 2 home runs in this game off that wall, 1 for each team. Zach Neto, Oppo Taco there. 2-run blast makes it a 4-2 Angels lead, and they weren't done in the inning, as then Perez comes up with 1 out, and he hits one in the right center field gap. That's going to be a double. He's in scoring position, brings up Luis Arias, who then pokes one into right field. Perez has some fleet feet, so he's going to test the arm of Butler, and he's going to get in there safely. A 5-2 Halos lead. Take that into the top of the 5th, where McClanahan making a nice play there on the ground ball back to him from Langoliers, and then Lawrence Butler would come up and do the same thing. Getting deja vu here, folks. 1-2, go the A's, and then it brings up J.J. Bleday, who would not be hitting a home run this time. Instead, grounds out to first base. 1, 2, 3 go the A's in the inning. Yusei Kikuchi came on here for the top of the 8th as we move things on for the Angels. Still a 5-2 game as J.J. Bleday, lefty on lefty crime there, base knock, 2-out single. Then it brings up Nick Kurtz. He hits one into right field. The Big Amish is on first base. So some 2-out singles from the A's. Then brings up Brett Harris. Ball gets a little bit away from Ohapi, but look at this. Flips the feet, fires to third base. Beautiful footwork, beautiful arm there. Gets the runner at third base to end the inning. And then Kevin Ginkel, the Gink, enters in the top of the 9th as Ben Joyce needed a day off. And he would proceed to shut the door as Usturi Ruiz pops up into shallow right field to end this ball game as the Angels do take this one over the A's by a score of 5-2, and that means they have now won 3 in a row. That's a win streak, folks. They are 5-1 in their last 6 games, playing a bit better ball here heading into the deadline. Zach Neto was your player of the game. He was 2 for 4 on the day with a double and a home run. Nolan Shawnwell and Mike Trout both had 2-hit games, and then Shane McClanahan, 6 innings, 8 hits, 7 Ks, 2 walks, and only 2 earned runs given up for the Halos as they win this one over the A's 5-2. So with that being said, that's going to wrap things up here for this edition of the Angels here on MLB The Show 25. I've been your host, JerseyBorn, and I am saying, the road goes on forever, and the party never ends.